I messed around a little bit with this in creative mode before I started the video, but I'm kind of making this up as I go too a little bit, so, you know, just kind of bear with me here. Hello everyone and welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival. I'm an Oldguy Gaming, and today we're going to do some building. I've been talking in the last few episodes about how we're going to do some more building on the base, and I've been thinking about it. I had some different thoughts on what I could do, and I think what we're going to do here, let me make a real quick adjustment to my microphone, is we are going to abandon this base. Well, actually, I'm not sure if we're going to abandon it yet, but we're going to build a new base. And that new base is going to be an underwater base, okay? And so what I've done is I have scouted out a spot on this lake for the base, and this is a very shallow lake. Only this end over here is actually deep enough, you know, to actually build a viable base, and B, also have some interesting things to look at underneath the water. So like I say, yeah, the majority of this lake is very shallow. Now, it's kind of deep over on this side too, but there's not really a whole lot to look at there. It's like a trench, so to speak. There's nothing in there. So this is the best spot for us to build. One advantage too of doing that is we're closer to a lot of these ore deposits too. And so I think that's a plan. And so we're going to start with the underwater base, and we might build a large platform above that, above the water, for like a capital ship when the time comes, or we might still utilize this space for that and build like a huge pad out on the base, out on the beach for a capital ship. So I haven't decided, you know, exactly how that's going to go down. But for now, we're going to get started on this. Now, this is going to be a lot of work, okay? And so there's no way I'm going to do this all in one episode. So this is probably going to be a multi-part episode. Either that, or I will start it here with this video, and then I'll finish the rest out on stream, okay? I'm leaning towards actually doing the latter, but we'll just kind of see how things go. But it is going to be a building episode, so I'm going to, you know, kind of warn you up front that you're going to be doing a lot of building stuff. And so I'm not expecting really any combat to speak of or anything in this particular episode. So just, you know, be aware of that. Okay. So what we have in our inventories, we have 2 base starters. And you'll see why I have 2 of those. Let me go back in here real quick because I have some more elevators cooking up that I need to grab. We have some elevators, and I have 100 glass window blocks and a bunch of concrete blocks and a whole bunch of O2 bottles because I'm going to need the oxygen underneath the water. Have plenty of charges for the drill, plenty of charges for the multi-tool. The drill in particular, we're going to be using that quite a bit. Well, you know what? I wanted to check our ammo levels. Those don't go in there. Okay, yeah, we got plenty of ammo. All right, so let's get started here. Now, if you've either done this yourself or you've watched, you know, other YouTubers build underwater bases in Empyrion, it's a pain in the butt, but it's doable. It's just a lot of, it's not even complicated per se, it's just a lot of work. So we're going to basically park the hovercraft right about over where the base is going to be, and then we're going to cut the power so that it sinks underneath the water. And in theory, if we get drones, the drones shouldn't be able to hit this under the water, but we'll see. Because yeah, there's a little bit up on top. But the thing is I can't, you know, I can't dive in a hovercraft. It won't let me do it. Because when I power it on, then, you know, it wants to lift, of course, because that's what it does. It's a hovercraft. One thing I do want to do, though, actually, is I want to leave the power running, but shut the thrusters off. For one reason, because I have oxygen, you know, flowing in the cabin, and if I run out of bottles or get in trouble or whatever, I can run up here and get some air. And I can also get air out of the actual oxygen dispenser, was it thingy? Okay. All right, so you can see that this is, I mean, you know, it's not like ocean deep by any means, but it's, you know, pretty good sized depth here compared to the rest of the lake. Even if I just move a little bit this way, you can see that it starts to get, you know, quite a bit shallower. Let me get my light on. But I didn't want to go too much further, you know, this way either, because we're starting to get kind of close to the shore. So basically, you know, this cove here, still, you know, fairly as far out in the middle as we can be, on, you know, from north to south anyways. And I figured, okay, well, this is probably about the best spot that we can do this in. And we have some cool stuff to look at, you know, underneath the water. It's, you know, it's getting dark now, so it's a little harder to see, but there's some rock formations, a few alien thorn plants, you know, that looks like the coral and that kind of thing. So it's a little neater area in terms of, you know, just what's directly around here. And this isn't going to be a ginormous base either. The plan is that the part that's going to be under the water with the glass is going to be the living quarters, but I'm also going to actually dig down deeper and create a much larger, we'll call it a basement, and I'm going to put, you know, most of the equipment down there. And then up above it, we'll have a platform for the hovercraft, for the small vessel that we're going to build very soon here. And then, like I said, we'll kind of see how it comes together, and we might even do a capital ship platform too. But cap ships are humongous, so we'll have to, you know, kind of wait and see how that's going to go. All right, so the first thing I want to do is, and this is the reason you're going to see why I have two base blocks with me. I want to make sure that we don't have anything in the way of like seaweed or alien thorn or pentaxid that we can't get rid of. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this particular spot, because it seems to be, you know, pretty clear of that stuff. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the first base block and we're going to set it down. And in doing so, I'm going to make sure that I'm facing, you know, directly east, north, south, whatever. So this is more or less square. We're going to set this down, and in doing so, it clears this whole area for us. It gets rid of all the grass. That's important because under the water, you can't clear the grass away. You know, the tool, what the hell is it called? The level tool or the clear tool? Or I guess I should not tool, but the mode, you know, the flattener mode doesn't get rid of grass underwater. The grass will stay there. The only way you can get rid of the grass is by putting down a core like this. However, I don't want the core, you know, up on the surface, you know, of the or the bottom of the lake here. I'm actually going to bury that down below. But we're going to leave it in place for a moment, because what we're going to do now is we're going to dig underneath it and place the other core. And then we're going to pick this core up. Okay? So let's get started doing that. Now, obviously this isn't a PvP server, but if it was, you know, this would be one good reason why you would want to, you know, put the core, hide it, and not just have it exposed like that. Let's put this stuff here. And we're going to put that block there. And, you know, so this is going to be our direct center. Now, this eventually will be a shaft that'll go down to our eventual basement. But I think what I want to do is I want to go down one more block. Now, here's an interesting thing, too, that you might not know if you're new to Empyrion. Notice that as soon as I drop below the top of the bottom of the lake bed, there's actually air down here. The water doesn't fill in like it would normally. And that's just kind of the way Empyrion works. And we're going to take advantage of that mechanic to make this work. Because here's the thing. In games like, you know, Minecraft and 7 Days to Die, you can create an underground, you know, structure, like say in 7 Days to Die with wood frames. You can then fill that structure in, and it basically replaces the water, and then you have an air pocket. It doesn't work that way in Empyrion, right? I can create a little area, fill it up with blocks, then remove the blocks, and the water's still there. So the only way to get rid of the water in Empyrion is to replace it with actual earth. And to do that, you have to use your filler tool, and the filler tool takes a very long time. So that's why I said this is a lot of work doing this. But when it's done, it's going to look really cool. So, you know, we're just doing it for fun and because we can, and it's going to look cool. All right, so let's set this block here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to dig this way 2 blocks. So I want my core 2 blocks down, and I also want it, wait a minute, let me think about this again now. I wonder maybe if I, yeah, I might actually want to go down even further because I want to make sure that I have at least 3 blocks of space between the floor of the main level and the floor of the basement. And the reason for that is because the furnace is humongous and it takes up actually 3 blocks height-wise in order to fit. And I'm planning on putting a furnace down here at some point. Okay, so we have 1, 2, so we need to go down another level. To here. It gets kind of weird because, you know, I don't want to make a whole bunch more of this dirt out because I'm going to have to fill it back in. So let's assume then that this will probably end up being the floor. Well, I might actually make that the floor. And, you know, the reason I'm hemming and hawing here is because it's just, you know, if I make this the floor, then I have to go that much higher when I fill this up. I'm thinking I'm going to make this the floor here, which means then that we need to go, here, let's get back down here. Yeah, 1, 2, so we need to go down 2 more. Make this work the way that I think I want it to work. I messed around a little bit with this in creative mode before I started the video, but I'm kind of making this up as I go too a little bit, so, you know, just kind of bear with me here. Okay, so that should be 3 blocks. This will be the floor of the main level. Then we'll come down 1, 2, 3, and then we need 1 more for the floor. Okay, let's pop up here real quick. And yeah, this is a little bit wonky here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to put in, come on. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to burrow this direction, which is south, a little ways. Whoops, wrong tool. And like I said, we're going to eventually be digging a much larger area out down here anyway. So this is not, you know, something I have to fill back in later. But what we have to do is we have to get our core far enough away so that it's not underneath the area that we have to build up, because we have to make sure that there's dirt there. But we can't cover up the core straight above it because everything's got to be connected to it for all this to work. If that doesn't make sense to you, it will later, so just trust me on that, okay? All right, so let's put in some more floor blocks here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so I'm gonna go... You know what? I want to, I'm not sure if my hovercraft is actually in a safe spot, so... Can I even get out of here now? Might have to, lock up here. There we go. So let's just kind of chill here for a second. In fact, I think what I'll probably do now that I think about it is I'll probably cut here, wait till the drones come in. When the drones come in, I'll bring you back. We'll shoot them down and then we'll resume. Okay, so I will see you guys back here in just a little bit. All right, guys, here comes the drones. Should probably just let my cannon turret take care of them, so I don't get this thing banged up. But what's my range again? 354. This is a little more fun. There we go. All right, drones are taken care of. And we dropped them just about right by our base, too. So, let's bring this back down. Yeah, look at that. Drop those drones practically right in our backyard of our new place here. Right back on. Okay, so where were we? We were moving to the south, I believe. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember now, was I going 3 blocks out? That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's 3. All right, I want to go a little further. Okay. So that's 4 blocks, and this would be 5 blocks here. Let's go one more. All right. Now, what I want to do is kind of clear out around this block a little bit, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and level it as much as possible, so that when I set the new core down, it is approximately at the same level as the current block. So now we want filler. The removal removes more material faster than the filler can fill it back up. So that's why when you're, working with this kind of stuff, you don't want to remove any more material than you absolutely need to. I was more interested in making some space around this than I was taking stuff out from underneath it, but that's kind of the way it worked. Alright, let's go to flattener. Now, when you're working with the flattener tool especially... Yeah, see, that's going down farther than I wanted to. That's alright. I don't think it's going to matter too much. But what I was saying is, when you're working with the flattener, you want to, give it smooth strokes. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to create pyramids. And if you've ever used this tool before, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Because then it becomes a real hassle to try and fix those things. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take this block out. And I'm going to hop back up here for a second. And we're going to remove... We can get enough jetpack going. Oh, what happened to the core? It was right here, wasn't it? Did I take it out already? I don't remember taking it out. That's weird. Okay. How did the... I'm confused. I don't remember taking the core out. I'll have to look back in the video and see if I can figure out what's going on with that. Alright, well, anyway, let's come back down here now. And we're going to take our other base block. So here's the thing. The game won't let me place the new core right up against those existing blocks. So what I have to do is I have to, take those blocks out before I can, and basically redo them. But I'm kind of using the blocks as a guide for where I want to start again. Now, because this is a little lower, what I'll probably end up doing is maybe going up another block for the foundation. But we'll worry about that later, though, when we get up there. Okay? So let's place this down now, and we want it lined up pretty much as close as possible, anyways, to these blocks. And let's look at our compass, make sure we're actually pointing west as much as possible. And boom, we'll set that down like that. Now it's not perfectly lined up, but that's all right. It's pretty close. It just, it basically was just a rough guide. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take these blocks out. 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put new blocks in on the new core. Why isn't this working? It's not letting me attach the block. All right, I'm back. I just logged out and logged back in, and now it's working again. So, don't know what happened there, but something got out of sync or whatever. But we're back in business now. Okay, so get that going again. So now we're going to come back this way and go back up to a little further. There we go. And then this was our more or less where our center was. So I guess I need my jetpack on. That might help. We're going to build this back up like so. Actually, you know what though, too? This is actually going to be a shaft that we're going to put elevators in. So, I think what we'll do... Okay, I got to think about this for a second. Here, let's just put a block there for the moment. Now, if I can... Let's fill that in too. Now, if I can cover that over, which I think I can, we'll be in business. In fact, here, I guess let's try that first before we do anything else. We want filler on. See if we can get this to come back over this way and cover this block. Yeah, like this. That's exactly what we want it to do. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. So here's what we're going to do then. So this is the center. I'm going to temporarily place this block here, because that's where we put the original base block, and it cleared, you know, all the weeds and seaweed or whatever out from under us. But we're going to go, let's see, we're going to go 1, 2, well, I guess I'm going to actually have to put those in. So let's do this. Let's cut over this way. Oh, that's my night vision. I don't know. It's brighter, but it's like almost too bright. Yeah, let's just stick with this. Alright, I'm trying to remember now how far out I want to go with this. I think it's 4. 2, 3, 4. Because I'm not planning on making the actual living area itself too terribly large, just because it takes so much work to fill it all in. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that seems about right. I think it should be about 4 out. Okay. So, next thing we're going to do then is, remember, I'm kind of making this up as I go. So, we'll figure it out one way or the other, or not. All right, so let's come down this way. And we're going to turn this guy like so. Okay. And then that's all connected to the core that's down below. So let's do this next. Let's fill this all back in. Let's finish filling this in, and then we'll wrap up part 1 here. Excellent. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to officially end this episode. This is part 1. And then I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to hit the record button and start right over again with part 2. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel. And I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me today. And I'll see you again here in just a couple of seconds for part 2. Take care.